it seems. We talked at the beginning of the day how it can be tough when you have two Korean players, even though they've been on a pretty stringent schedule of learning Mandarin. It's not going to happen overnight or even over the course of the split. They have managed to look a lot cleaner in the last couple of games, and we'll see if they can continue to do it, because that would mean PSG would be cruising to a third straight title in the PCS, their fourth total. You got to remember, all the way back to the start of the PCS as a series, before it took over from the LMS, a lot of these players were involved in that one. It was PSG, or it was rather Talon Esports versus Machi, and that was Gemini, Koala, Mission, and they got denied MSI from Hanabi, Unified, and Kaiwing. You'd have to think they want some revenge. They got to be thinking about it.
You go even further back, and they were denied by PSG, even though it wasn't Bay and Juhan or Maple and River, or Maple. They were denied by PSG from going to MSI as well. So there's a lot of impetus for CFO to prove that they can actually win out on some of these drafts. Taking across a look at the startups right here, we do have a very safe lane from Unified. As to be expected, PSG are on the scaling game once more. And we do have another first strike coming out from Juhan. I think it worked pretty well the last time around, not going to change. And of course, for Mission, we do have to point out this is once again going to be Predator, so much more focused on early game, chasing down Bay. And as we have seen, he does like to start with boots to open up, puts a lot more gank pressure right at the get-go.
We'll have to keep an eye on Gemini. The level 3 Viego gank is very possible here. Koala, he doesn't want to take the level 1 up against Unified and Kaiwing. I think this lane may be a little quieter. And the last series, it got really explosive, though. There was a lot of pop-off, and it was shooting Koala that got the better of it. But PSG have clearly downloaded the strategy they need. Really like that first pick, Nautilus, just because it's such a takeaway. Koala looks very different on not Nautilus.
Exactly here. And if you look at the bot lane, it's a really nice defensive setup here because you do have Kaiwing with the Aftershock. He should be a little bit tankier than Leona in most instances. Of course, the Eclipse is still there for Leona. And you really read CFO as more combat focused, more about helping Gemini secure these kills against their opponents here.
But Gemini has a lot of pressure on him right now, right? Like the reset champion, he really wants to be able to stack them. He's going to be spotted on vision early on. So information, PSG, they're feeling pretty confident about this.
Yeah, really nicely done by PSG in this one. This has been a consistent factor of their play. They get the shove in, they're definitely going to find out Gemini. And I think that's been the sort of biggest takeaway. You know, if you think about CFO, they actually have a pretty good time at getting Gemini into early action. Hasn't been the case this series at all. They've always been tracking him. And on the flip side, it hasn't really been true for CFO versus PSG. And that first rotation on jungle is actually extremely important. It really decides on whether you can play the lane with a shove in mind or you have to stay back and prevent some of these gankings from happening. And especially for the top side, you know, because Rest always likes to play shove all the way.
Yeah. I mean, CFO are playing, they play a lot more hard-headed, right? Like, they are mechanically incredibly skilled players, but they are a little closer to 5 individuals rather than, you know, a fully well-oiled machine. I mean, they haven't really adapted to this vision control. They haven't really blocked it out. They've gone for, like, maybe cheeky, like, brush plays every once in a while, but that's a little more telegraphed. And Gemini does have level 3 now. Let's see if we can get something happening in the mid. No, they ping it out. You can see the communication on the mini-map as Bay just immediately backs off and respects what Gemini can do here.
This is just so well choreographed from PSG's bottom side. They push the lane, cheater recall, go back with the call. They know they're for the scaling game. It's just beautiful to watch them execute all of this. And even with the match here, the problem is CFO actually got their wave frozen. So that's going to be a CS lead over to the side of Unified after this wave. Really nicely done. They get the advantage in lane. They avoid any chances for Gemini to gank them, and it's so hard to gank Hanabi. Like, you have no hard crowd control on the Graves, and you know, Renekton is probably the champion with the most potential to 1v2 jungler if he does come up there.
Yeah, so everything's kind of working out well for them in this early game. PSG just wanting to control the pace as they've been able to do in their wins, and keeping an eye once more on Gemini is easy peasy as you like. I don't think they spotted him there, but they had to know timing-wise that he was going to be on the Raptor camp. And also a gank in mid is going to be even harder right now because Bay is kind of pushed in at the moment. So that's just going to be the recall out of the CFO jungler, and another quiet early game commences.
Yeah, and I just have to say, like, this is... I feel like PSG is... in order to appreciate them, you have to kind of live in the grand context of things rather than in the moment. Because I feel like they're not particularly explosive, but they're just so damn solid. Look at this again. PSG still holding onto the wave, acquiring a good, sizable lead, as we've mentioned, and forcing the hand of CFO. CFO pretty much have to respond with this Drake. It's completely spotted out by PSG. PSG are just saying, okay, we're just gonna, you know, farm this one out. We don't care about the Drake that much. We're gonna pick up on CS, and we're gonna be happy about it.
Yeah, it's just such a fundamental difference in how these two squads approach the game, like the philosophy. PSG, I mean, one of the reasons they have been so successful is because they're just able to do this over and over again, especially against the weaker teams in the league. I think it was a big surprise that CFO beat them in one of the two losses they had, the first one since opening day, or opening week, rather, against Mega Bank Beyond Gaming. But they haven't really shown as much weakness. I mean, that last series started to look more and more like an aberration than anything else.
Yeah, I'll be honest, when we casted that series, I was saying Game 4 and Game 5 were a complete fluke. Like, there was no way that Koala just somehow gets two Dreadlines back to back.
It was like an 8,000 IQ play, though, with the Baron Bamboozle. I mean, there was pop-up potential. The ceiling is high, but as you can see, PSG are just so much more consistent. Now, here comes the Viego. Gemini on level 5 does not have Heartbreaker spotted on the ward, so he can't really get much done.
Yep, very easy here to just cast this one
Sad out. Viego. He's got to go back to Hot Topic now. Get some new belts.
And I feel like this is a problem with some of the red side drafts, is that CFO don't actually have a matchup where they can force kills onto top lane. PSG just play this so well. They pick the Renekton here, and you know, you don't have a... There's not really a 2v2 that you can hard force if it's Renekton against a ranged champion, and any counter gank is going to be so threatening because of it. So they're just able to kind of scale on here. I think CFO do have to play with the Drake stack. That's going to be the most important thing. If they can put pressure on PSG to come in before the third carry item, that's going to be absolutely crucial. So CFO, this is your time to showcase your knowledge of how to control these objectives. You know, we're still 3 minutes off, but that has always been the make or break point. Every single game that we had this series, PSG has been able to sneak away at least one Drake pretty early on.
Okay, the mission roam is happening here. We'll take a look at the top side. 1v1, Hanabi goes in onto rest, and this little trade with the shotgun, got to be a little careful not to tank too much more damage. Mission can't quite complete it. I thought he was going for a deeper roam here, but he ends up going back to mid lane, and now it's Juhan in the bot for the 2v3. Koala and Shun, don't think they know this is happening. Oh, Dredgeline doesn't land.
They have to suspect something at this point, I feel like. Like, if Kaiwing's still holding his position after the Dredgeline, then you know that something is up here. The wave is pushing out. You see Galio roaming down bot here as well. And Juhan knows his priorities. He's just, okay, I'm not going to force this against a potential Galio roam. I'm just going to back out.
Okay, Gemini's up here. This might end up... Oh, he's actually going to go for some counter jungling. Okay, so a little vertical there. That is the ping spotted. Juhan knows that Gemini's at his blue buff. Might just turn to fight him.
Yeah,
2v2, I think.
Interesting fight here. Mission's already here in position.
Oh, smite down. Okay. All right. It's about sending a message, really. Does he need the blue buff? No. Does he want Faye to have it? Also no. Oh, hook out of downtown forces out the flash and Moonlight Vigil. Oh, Shun was in a 1v2.
Yeah, Koala actually made a roam to top lane to try and see if they could get the Herald. And CFO are getting caught out on this top as well. But there is no Orianna here, so this play is very interesting because they have the 3v2 momentarily. They're going to go in.
They got to go for it here. Mission on the chase down should be... No, he can't quite get that play on the taunt as Hanabi runs out. Mission was not interested in investing his flash to secure that one. So, 9 minutes in, still no first bloods on this, and they don't even clear the Rift Herald. It's CFO trying to make plays, but they're not the ones finding anything.
And that's the problem I had with the Galio. They actually just have no lockdown on the top side. So, you know, it's really easy for PSG to just walk away from these engages. It's like, there's no Leona, so, we don't have to worry about it. You just walk away, and you're good.
Honestly, I think game 1 of that series, Mission flashes that. It does seem like they have slowed down a little bit, and I wonder if they're starting to feel a little defeated. Gemini does come in here That's going to be the
Herald
secure.
taken.
He actually steps up 1v2, but he knows he's got friends coming to the party. In goes the Galio. Shockwave lands as Gemini goes into stasis, flashes away. The rest of the party is coming here as they will try to get first blood. They do. It goes to rest, but the turn comes right on back as Gemini's down a 1-for-1 on the fight.
Yeah, I do want to see where the kills end up. If Gemini did snag that one, maybe you could make a case that it's fine for CFO, but grand scheme of things, definitely PSG favored just a little bit. They do snag the Herald at the very end. And no, it's actually Graves that gets the kill, which is also, I think, fine. The worst case scenario was definitely Mission picking that one up. So I feel like this is it's pretty decent for both sides. And you do see a lot of summoners being burned here. So it does mean that CFO, I think, will have a slight edge coming into the next Drake fight.
But they're going to need a lot going forward, right? Like, that's the important thing, is they need to really make something off the back of it. They need to utilize those down summoners to actually get some more for themselves, because they do have a timing window. You talked about it, 32 minutes. It's kind of the point when their game sort of closes out for themselves. They need to start setting up kills. It's Juhan actually making the roam down towards the bottom side. They'd be looking for a Herald play as this Dragon number 2 is started up by CFO. This is the Mountain, and this one should be uncontested. You see the back coming in for Kaiwing.
Yeah, the timing here is really good because you just saw the Orianna Jarvan combo go down. You know there's no threat from that one, and PSG are not even trying to contest this.
You had to check with the Rocket. It makes sense. We have another Hextech Rift, by the way, so a little more spicy here if this is the final game.
Absolutely massive for Graves. This is probably the best Dragon Soul you want to see if you're already up 2 Drakes and you are trying to play a split pushing game. So CFO, have a lot of incentive to contest this one, and the threat level is also high for PSG. Like, if it was a Cloud Drake, then PSG could kind of just sit on the laurels and not really care about the Drake stack. But a Hextech, I feel this is one of those souls that they will have to respond with, and that means they have to go into the team fights. We are taking down the minutes. It's about 20 minutes until 4 Drakes, and that's definitely still a strong point for CFO to close the game.
Oh yeah, that's a way for them to get into this one for sure. Rest not going to let Hanabi back too far forward there. But still, you got to think we needed to see a lot out of Gemini in this early game, but he was completely tracked right now, so window may be closing. Juhan does take the Hextech gate, and he does get spotted on a ward here around the side. They'll know this is happening. Maybe CFO can make a counterplay. Now he knows he's spotted, though.
Yep, Gemini going to show up here as well, just clear the wave, and I feel like Juhan is really struggling to find a place to put this one down here. We have the engage coming.
Kaiwing is going to be spotted here. You do see the zone out from Shun. That's Kaiwing into stasis.
Flash.
I think he's going down. Nicely timed on the Moonlight Vigil, and Shun will be able to clean up a kill off the back of that one. Nice little 1-2-3 punch.
Yeah, really well done here. They kind of pinned Juhan onto the wall right there, so they know they get a momentarily 3v2. And now, yep, PSG are going to respond with this one. Mission, you can't take that.
Mission's zoned away. Yeah. All right, good charge here. They're going to have to try and make it even as Shun is able to get some solo plates while Unified is coming back from base. Won't be able to clean another one up here. Asking for help over on the opposite side. That was Gemini. I think he's just taking the rift, taking the gate, I should say, back to the safety of his own jungle.
Solid win here for CFO. Getting that one down. Also getting the Aphelios with a kill right here. So a lot of good stuff happening for them. I'm looking across the lanes here, and I feel like the top lane here is something we have to mention because Hanabi so far in this Renekton pick has been rather ineffective. He's not been able to do anything, not be able to throw any ganks in the top lane. That's usually how you want to play it against the Graves, is just use that hard crowd control to find something. We'll watch this again from PSG's perspective. Kaiwing definitely out of position here. He knows that Viego actually has Juhan pincer. Juhan cannot come through the river. I feel like this is kind of a calm issue coming in from PSG. A lot of times, Kaiwing might have too much on his plate. And in the top lane, Hanabi's going to get caught out and killed.
Yeah, he wants to try and make Rest pay for it, but Rest is right on top of him. They'll let the kill get secured by the Graves. So the roams from Mission starting to hurt a little bit here as they at least can turn things on the top and on the bottom. Will they be able to get more out of it? That's the question, as the gold lead extends to about 1,000 and some change. Not a massive win here, but plates fallen. Shun is going to look to pick up first brick. I think he gets it in time. Yeah, PSG can't really answer it here, as they were instead kind of just waiting in the brush, maybe setting up for a play. Doesn't happen.
I'm not really sure what Bay is doing on the bottom side. I feel like you could have done a lot of damage in the mid lane here, but I guess he wanted to look for cross-map play and doesn't really end up defending here either. So a bit of an odd roam on the bottom side, and I feel like it's time we could say that, okay, decidedly, Graves does have the lead right here. The bot lane is getting pushed in. It's going to be hard for Orianna to find farm in this laning allocation. You can't go up against Graves right now. So the next couple of minutes is going to be heavily CFO dominated. And I think this is what they were kind of missing in game one, is just kind of a solid matchup that they could win through. And this time it has showed itself in the top side.
Yeah, I think we've seen a couple of Renekton games this series that just haven't really looked all that great because the value just hasn't been there. And Hanabi's going to get dove again if he's not careful. Koala and Gemini are here. He's going to try to run back to the safety of his own jungle. Yeah, he's got the slice dice over. That's fine. Should be losing out on some pressure in the top side, though, as the Aphelios has taken up there. Gale Force on. Should be able to get even more damage on these turrets. Unified in the mid with the help of Juhan. And this just straight up tanks that zap. I think this is a mid turret as well. Unified can finish the job. Flame Chomper's on, but they want to turn the fight potentially. Okay, a little bit of a misplay on the shield of Durant, a pair of teleports as well. This could be trouble. Rest is forced to go away from that one. Koala into stasis. It's a bit scuffed here, but maybe they can turn it around on the hero's entrance.
Mission goes in.
And that's a lot of damage. Hanabi, though, slicing and dicing Gemini, taking out Unified. That's huge to open this fight right now. And the taunts are flashed away from CFO. They get themselves a quick 2, and wouldn't you know it, there's a Hextech Dragon on the Rift.
Yeah, beautiful play here from CFO. I felt like it was a little bit scuffed on the engage from CFO as they close in. PSG still get to take the first tower, but on the other end, Mission is able to save his own support right there and turn the fight around. I feel like all the eyes were on chasing down the enemy, and unfortunately here, not enough attention on the side of Gemini as he's able to sneak back in after taking the death charge. Let's see where Juhan actually uses his ultimate. He goes on to Rest, but Rest doesn't die. And look at this, Koala actually stops Juhan from coming in. They have to reposition the Orianna EQ combo, not there. And that is the engage back from Gemini onto the backline. So yeah, I just think, unfortunately for PSG, they over-chase and leave their backline vulnerable.
Yeah, CFO find an opening, they take it. Also, credit to Mission, he actually intercepts Unified Super Mega Death Rocket at, like, the final second. I don't know if it was going to be big enough to kill anybody, but it was extremely close. And that is going to also be the Rift Herald take your CFO. They've decided to just group as 4. Rest is on the outside, so in case he's needed, he is available. Dragon Stack still in play. A decent timing window to work with, and now a gold lead that's starting to blow up.
Exactly. This is looking really scary for PSG. PSG have to think about how they want to engage this one. It really is about picking the correct target right here. And, oh.
Okay, Hanabi into the taunt right now. They won't be able to follow through the damage. Mission, he can walk away from this, but it's all just a ploy to buy time for Shelly to finish the job. They get that outer turret. Not much more for it, but still, adding gold into the coffers is huge. Rest is going to start pushing down bottom side, and this is where Rest can start to take over, right? Because you don't really have anybody who can contest him 1v1.
Yeah, he has so much sustain. He's going to beat out the mage by default right here. And you can see that PSG are trying to send 5 members all along. Here comes Grab.
I got the root. Shockwave, it doesn't matter. Shun gets himself kill number 3 of the game, and Operation Feed the Bot Laner is in full effect, but it might be turnabout here as they do manage to get a great root, great catch, everything burned, and Rest, I don't believe it. How about that blowback? He gets away.
He gets the Immortal Shield Bow proc. It looked like he was about to go down, but, you know, on the flip side, it's just a free flash burn, so I don't see PSG as being too concerned about this one. But the next fight is absolutely critical. I think in this fight, they actually need to blow up the Viego. It sounds near impossible, but I don't see a scenario if Viego isn't the first target and PSG are able to take him down with the combo piece, that they win. If they don't get the Jarvan Shockwave combo onto Gemini, I just think there's too much potential for CFO to just clean up afterwards. So, you know, this is getting real tough. They have to walk into the Hextech Drake. We have seen them do it before, but not without the vision advantage this time.
Oh boy. CFO are determined to make this one a big old series. You talked about sustain, Clem. Well, how about a Bloodthirster on the Graves? Rest is going all in on it right now, and I can't believe he lived through that. Yeah, I mean, PSG aren't going to be as worried. They get the flash out of it. That feels pretty good, but man, like, he was just riding the shotgun blowback over and over again. The ultimate, the flash, the proc, everything. And they get to reset. He's back down on the bottom lane. Got to be a little careful, though, as there's not a lot of vision there on that side. They're going to try to keep it clean. Baron's about to spawn as the 20-minute mark will tick over, and Unified picks himself up a rapid fire cannon. That's his second item, I believe.
Ooh,
teleport in. They're going to chase Hanabi. Smoke screen on. And Hanabi can't really sidestep it. There's the Zenith Blade. He's on the Dominus, but I don't think it matters. The taunt's through. They invest pretty heavily, but Gemini will get the kill, and PSG are in no position to respond.
Yeah, they have way too much vision advantage in the bot side of the map there. Nabi unfortunately overstays his welcome, and CFO are able to extend that vision lead up all the way until the next Drake is what I believe the next play is. And this mid lane is looking a little bit scary, but I feel like PSG are setting up a correct trap. Jarvan could just pop out if they're no, never mind, they see it.
Juhan reveals. And
Bay,
Jig is
oh,
up.
Bay,
Oh,
Bay.
Oh,
Bye, Bay.
Oh, Shun is fed.
Straight up 1v2. That was
double buff,
disgusting. Oh, that was some
man.
nasty
Meanwhile,
vintage Aphelios.
Oh, God. Oh, man. Yeah, this champion. 400 years. 4-0. Okay. Okay, cheeky interrupt. That's fine. Yeah. It's okay. It's cool. Let's see that again.
That was so nice. You gotta watch it twice. He uses the turret, gets 2 auto attacks off, and then finishes with the Moonlight Vigil. He gets the other Caliburn proc on the side, and then just kills him with the Executioner. Oh, that was some real nasty gameplay.
Yeah, you know, if you were listening to us in like games 2 and 3, and I was talking about Shun being like a real hotshot rookie AD carry, this is why. You had to wait more games to see it, but this is why.
Oof. This is when you tell when rookies really show up. The thing about Dago and how you knew he was going to overtake everything was in those game fights, in those situations, he was always going, me. This is what I'm going to do. Look at me. And he took control. He put the reins in his own hands. That's what I love about these really aggressive rookies and what I think you want out of your future stars here. And, you know, Shun just showing up huge. That definitely didn't feel like a rookie play to just throw down that play there. And I like this from CFO. You know, they're unconcerned about the Baron play top lane whatsoever. PSG might have a lot of vision there, but they don't have the damage, and CFO know that. So easy 22-minute soul.
Yeah, I mean, huge right now for CFO on the Hex Tech. They're going to be able to chase down if they want to. Now they can just keep on pushing on the side. I mean, the only danger right now is if Rest just kind of gets himself caught up and his team is close enough to deal with it, they can just kind of rotate on this one. I think they might face and... No, they're going to set up a trap. It's all a trap.
Well, but
Gemini, watch him on the side.
Galio's on the other side. He's just happy to split push this one away. In the meantime, massive item advantage here, and Gemini try to pick off some scraps here. Not going to happen. Unified taking a lot of damage.
Drop it. That is going to be the Galio dropping in. They've already taken down Unified, and I think this fight is already over here. Gemini on the front line as the Jinx, able to get a little bit more work done. A little squishy. He's going to have to back away, so they take Unified down and the outer turret, or inner turret too. Time to base and reset for round 2.
Oh boy, Shun is just looking so disgusting. I think that was collateral damage from Rest to start things off, and then they just finish him off with the Heartbreaker Strike coming in from Gemini. Just beautiful combo coming into the back line there. They really do just trick out. I think Bay was the one that had to defend mid lane, so they're able to get a split-second 5v4 and capitalize on it with the semi-global. Now Rest is gonna say hi to Juhan. Oh, that's his EQ.
Yep, he knows he doesn't have a lot of escapes right now. Actually doesn't opt for the chase down. He might have been a little worried that Kaiwing could arrive in time to help, but... Oh, man. CFO looking very scary here, Clement. We talked about the timing window that PSG can win this game at. It is quite a ways away, and Baron is being started.
Yeah, this one is going to be a hard contest here. Let's see. They have double blue trinkets, so I'm 100% confident PSG will find it.
Okay, they're gonna full commit to this one. I mean, this might be the straight up fight. Keep your eyes on the Galio. They turn into the choke point, and that's gonna be a massive taunt. The shield of Duran. Goodbye, Unified. Goodbye, PSG. 3 as Kaiwing runs for the hills. The double kill comes through, and they don't even care about the Renekton. I think this is lights out.
Oh boy, 25 seconds on the timer, but 34 for Bay, and there's only one member left. Hanabi has to go back to base. Let's see if the Hero Croc can mount a defense right here, but it's going to be very difficult. CFO, this one's risky. This is how kind of J-Team lost the previous one.
It is, but this time CFO managed to find the edges. They do not have the time to come back in. Just ignore the Crocodile. Never mind. They try to take him, but he gets back to Fountain, and we have a 5-game series.
What a dominating game from CFO, and you can see how this, I feel like for PSG, there's so much pressure in the way they actually win the games because of the format. The way they win are 40-minute grind fests, but they have to play back-to-back. This is their third match coming into this week. They are under so much stress to make all of this happen here, and they now have to play 10 games back-to-back, and sitting through those 40-minute sessions is not an easy task. So, you know, I think like all win scenarios are valid, but if you're playing from the lower bracket in this format, it does get very difficult for you the later the series goes.
Yeah, exhaustion is a very real thing here, and PSG have been put to the test. I mean, you got to think back to last split when it was Mega Man